In this lesson, you'll learn about the MIDI draw, and this allows us to draw in velocity changes and crescendos or diminuendos over time, but it also lets us draw in changes to the pitch bend and modulation parameters. So I've just got a synth part here. So let's just quickly record a 4-bar loop. The first step is to open the piano roll, and then we're going to go to this button here to open the MIDI draw. Now we're running out of room a bit already, so let's go to a new screen set. If you hit 2, and make sure you've got this kind of thing going on. So you can open this by going to Command 4 or in the window drop down, and then again just press this button to open the MIDI draw. And now we've got this as screen set 2. So you can see here that I can control the note velocity, and it's in a slightly different display. Now I can just drag these up and down like so to control the velocity, and this is a really quick and easy way to adjust velocity. But what's cool about this is we can actually draw in velocity changes. So we could draw in a crescendo by simply clicking with the pointer and holding. If we draw it up there, you'll notice it's added a crescendo, and then this one it must have missed, so we can add that down there. Now what you can also do is drag these up and down, but it will do it relative. So if we want it to be a bit of a subtler crescendo, we could do that, and then with them highlighted we could bring them back up like so. Or we could make it a more dramatic crescendo like this, where there's a bigger gap between each one, and we could do it like that. So just make sure you catch that first note. I think it's a bit early, so it missed that. And we can bring that down there. So let's have a listen. Really easy crescendo, and we can do a diminuendo in exactly the same way by clicking and dragging like so. And if we wanted to make it subtler, we can just drag these down like this. And then using this velocity control, we can bring them all up to the kind of area of velocity we want. So there we go, nice and easy. Now, if you go to the drop-down box here, you can see there's quite a lot more we can control in this window. So now you can see we've got a bender, and this works like automation, which we're going to cover later on. But we're essentially drawing in pitch bend. So 0 is there. So if we want to pitch bend up to this note, we could go from -1 to 0. And then we might want to leave it from there. Let's have a listen. However, you can see from that that this synth doesn't actually support pitch bend. So let's go back and choose a slightly different one. Let's just go, instead of Alchemy, let's use ES2. So now I've got a synth that supports pitch bend. Let's add a really dramatic pitch bend so you can hear that in action. So there we go. And we can add that to other notes as well. We could bend into them like this. And we can just adjust them however we want to make it sound. So that's really good because we have a lot more control. Of course, you can play that in with your pitch bend modulator on your keyboard if you have one, but then you can go in and edit this. And we can, of course, highlight these. Then we can drag and hold Option to copy them to other notes. So we then might want this note to bend as well. Let's get rid of that by double clicking. Nice and easy. And then we can also adjust modulation, which is generally a different parameter. So we can play around with that and see what that does. So you can hear how that's affecting the kind of wobble of the sound. and that's just adding a lot more vibrato. So we could get rid of it on the first note and then have it just sustaining on this note, for example. We can grab them and bring this bit down and draw it in however we see fit. And you can see already we're adding a lot of interest to this part. So there's a few other things that you can control here: volume, breath, expression. Some of them won't work with certain synths. You just need to experiment. Velocity is really good for adjusting here. You can quickly see what's going on with the velocity of your notes and adjust them on the fly, and add crescendos if you want to, or of course you can just make them all the same level like this. Or you can add kind of weird things like that. So it just makes it really easy to draw in different parameters. Make sure you use that MIDI draw box.